So which Canon printer should you be buying? Well, hello and welcome to this Fotospeed video, as always with me, Tim Jones. Today what we're going to be looking at is Canon printers. Now I've got the Pro-300 sat on the desk here, but I will be looking at the Canon IP8750, the Pro-300, Pro-200, and also the Pro-1000 as well. So going right through the Canon product range from reasonably budget friendly on the IP8750 right up to the £1,000 Pro-1000 with its 12 inks and amazing prints. But before we get started and look at all these amazing printers individually, please don't forget to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel. And also don't forget to sign up to the Fotospeed Newsletter on photospeed.com. I'll put a link in the description below to receive exclusive discounts and to keep up with all the news from us here at Fotospeed. Some exciting news coming, so make sure you're signed up to the newsletter to hear about it first. Canon have a range of printers on offer, from the kind of budget-friendly A3 8750 right up to a 12-ink pigment-based Pro-1000, a pro-level machine and produces amazing prints. There are the Pro-300 and 200 also within that range as well, so I'll be covering all of those in this video. So if you wanted to learn about a specific printer, I have time-stamped everything and put chapters in for you, so I hope you don't skip forward, but you can if you want to, and learn about specific printers as well. I'm not going to start with the Pro-300 though. I'm actually going to start at the budget-friendly IP8750 from Canon. So let's get rid of this one, and I'll put in the IP8750, and then we can have a little talk about it. So if by magic, here is the IP8750. Now, lovely printer. The only downside to it I can find is that it's dye inks, and it's got 6 of those in there. So the 6 inks are a cyan, a magenta, a grey, which is really important for black and white printing, but I'll talk about that in a bit, a yellow, and also a pigment black, and also a photo black in there as well. So those are the 6. The pigment black in there is used for, say, documents, and you can actually select fine art print in there, which will actually use it. However, there is an annoying thing, whereas if you select fine art, basically what happens is you get these chunky big borders at the top, and it really kind of messes around with your prints a little bit. So it kind of pushes everything down. A little trick I found though is because we were always taught in art theory and framing that you should leave a bigger space down the bottom of the print than the top. And this is only really applies if you're in portrait, is to switch the image round so it prints the other way round, and then you've got that thicker bottom at the bottom. So little thing there, possibly, not for everyone. I normally, if you are printing on fine art papers, just put it on matte photo paper, and it does a really great job. Now, black and white printing, because we've got that grey ink in there, it is a little bit trickier to produce black and white. However, it can do it. It really can produce a black and white. If you haven't watched mine and Vince's video on getting a perfect black and white out of this printer, then please go and watch that. But the secret to getting really good black and whites out of this is to take advantage of Fotospeed's free custom profiling service and get this printer profiled. We can even optimize that profile if you are seeing still a little bit of color in there as well. Color prints are dazzling, to be honest. That's one word that I think about when I think of these prints, because they're dye inks. They really do pop off the page and really do catch your eye. Very vivid. If you're comparing them to a pigment print, although the pigment print looks amazing in isolation, put it next to a print coming out the dye-based printers, be it the 8750 or the Pro-200, and they almost look a little bit flat, to be honest. And that is because of the dye ink and the way the dye works. So again, beautiful color prints. Works really well with anything with a bit of a shine to it. I actually have one of these printers to print digital negatives for my cyanotype and etching work that I do. Really great for that as well. Quite cost effective on ink as well. Not as good as like the mega tanks or the eco tanks with refillable cartridges. However, it works out about 80p a mil. That might have changed depending on the time you've watched this video. But it's an A3 Plus printer as well. So it produces really nice prints. I've been really impressed actually with these printers. It does fall down very slightly in the shadows when you're comparing it to say the Pro-200, but then it has got 2 more inks in there to create those shadows and detail for you. And also when you compare it to the Pro-300 and 1000 with their 10 and 12 inks, you do lose a little bit of shadow details and also a little bit of highlight detail on it. That is just because it's got a smaller color gamut to kind of play with because it's only got 6 inks. But apart from that, amazing, great value for money. They come in at around the 200, 250 mark, depending on kind of when you're looking at it. Canon also do cashback on these printers of £40 occasionally as well. So have a look and double check that as well. I can't recommend them enough. If you are starting on that printing journey and you want a printer that is going to do the job and do an excellent job, but isn't going to break the bank when you actually buy it and isn't going to confuse things. If you just want to print, this printer is for you. Okay, so let's move on to the Pro-200 because that is another die printer that Canon do, and it's a step up from this one. So let me just get that one down and we'll have a look at it for you. Okay, again, as if by magic, this printer has appeared for us. And this is the Pro-200 from Canon. It has 8 die inks in the printer, but as you can see, it's gone up a little bit in size and it has the build quality of the Pro machines. So this printer is Pro level, so it's a lot better build quality. It is a printer that likes to be used and wants to be used as well. Now, like I said, it has 8 die inks in it, a yellow, cyan, magenta, a black, a grey, a light grey, and also photo cyan and photo magenta in it. So if you're printing black and whites, then it's also got an extra grey in there as well. So when we talked about that shadow detail in the 8750, this won't have that issue. I have seen greater shadow depth on this printer. Again, perfect black and whites because you've got that extra grey in there, good profiles in there, and it will be absolutely perfect for you. Colour again is strong and vibrant. Now I should say that Canon now say that their die inks will last over 100 years in museum conditions. Museum conditions means probably in a box somewhere under your bed, never seeing the light of day. However, they will last 100 years in that situation. They won't. So if you watch my fade test video I did a few weeks ago, I couldn't fade a die print within 6 months compared to a pigment alternative. Now both of those were printed on Canon printers. So after 6 months, your print should be absolutely fine still. However, I will keep coming back to that video and expanding on what we've kind of thought about and also keep testing it every 6 months to see if those prints have actually faded. Die inks aren't as scary as they used to be. And this printer coming in at around that £400 or £500 mark, so it is a little bit more, is a great alternative if you couldn't stretch to the Pro-300 or the Pro-1000 as well. Ink-wise, very similar, about that 80p a mil. It's got 14mm cartridges, so it seems like you're forever changing cartridges a little bit. One niggle with this printers and the Pro-300, to be honest, because they both released at the same time, was it'd be nice if they put some bigger cartridges in there, say 30mm or even 26 like Epson do. It would have been really nice, but apart from that, great printer. Again, it's got all the Pro features, so the menu is the same as the Pro-1000 and even the 2100, 4100 and 6100, the big large format machines, the big roll machines. I'm going to do a separate video on this printer as well because I haven't really shown it enough love, to be honest, and haven't really done an in-depth look at it. But what I have printed on it, I've been quite impressed with, to be honest. So let's look at its big brother, or twin brother, should we say, possibly, and that is the Pro-300. Okay, so here we are back with the Pro-300. Again, very similar to the Pro-300, looks the same apart from it's got more of a matte top basically, but this is an image prograph printer, so this is where officially Canon's Pro range or professional range of printers starts. This is a pigment machine, so it's fully archival, will last well over Canon, say 150, 200 years with the right papers. So amazing printer. It's also got 10 pigment inks in here as well. The 10 inks in here are photo black, matte black, yellow, cyan, magenta, photo cyan, photo magenta, red, a grey ink, and also a chrome optimizer ink as well. Now the chrome optimizer is there to eliminate any gloss differential or bronzing you may see. So a nice addition on your non-matte papers. It really works as well. It puts this like nice layer over the top, basically seals your print for you and fills in all those gaps that can cause that bronzing and gloss differential. Not that I've seen any actually when I've turned it off. I mean, they are fabulous printers. They will give you perfect results. It's the same ink set as in their big roll machines as well as the Pro-1000. The Pro-1000 and the big roll machines just have a couple of extra inks, but I'll talk about that in a little bit when I'm looking at that printer. They're nice and light as well. The build quality on them is fantastic. They're really sturdy and it feels like you're not going to break them when you open them up. Again, same menu as all the Pro range as we're going up as well. So if the theory is if you can use one of these printers, you can use their 60-inch 6100 printer as well. Because that matte black in here as well and the pigment inks works amazingly on fine art prints. And because they're pigment inks, you can classify them as fine art. One niggle, small cartridges again. If you think that the Pro-1000 that I'll talk about in a minute has 80mm cartridges and the ink cost drops down to about 60p a mil, in here we have 14mm cartridges and the ink costs are about £1.20 a mil. To be honest, that is comparable with Epson's equivalent of this printer in the range. Now, basic rule with printers is the bigger you go, the cheaper the ink gets. So if you do have a 6100, you'll be buying it by the litre and it drops down to about 25, 30p a mil. Whereas on the Pro-300 here, you're going to be paying £1.20 a mil. However, the prints that come out of it are absolutely stunning. As you'd expect, all the shadow detail, all the highlights are there because it's got those 10 inks to fill in all the gaps. It does black and white prints out of the box using the Canon black and white mode to produce perfect prints out of the box as well, as all the Pro range printers do. Maybe not so much the Pro-200 because we might need some profiles on that as well, but I've been really impressed with this printer out of the box. We have many of our Fotospeed ambassadors using this printer and it fits lovely. It's nice and compact as well. It is also an A3 Plus printer, so you can print quite big on it as well. But if you did want to print bigger, then you're probably going to have to look at the Pro-1000. Let's get that up here and I will walk you through like the flagship desktop printer, but I will talk about the weight in 2 seconds. Let me just switch this one over and then we'll jump into the Pro-1000. Okay, here it is. Hopefully you can still see me over the top of this. This is the Pro-1000. A2 machine, 12 pigment inks in it. So whereas the Pro-300 had 10 inks, this adds an additional blue ink and a photo grey as well. So with that photo grey and also that blue ink, the colour gamut is a little bit bigger than the Pro-300. Personally, I'll put my hand on the heart here, I haven't really seen a massive difference in print quality or shadow detail, highlights and things on the Pro-1000 compared to the Pro-300. The big selling point with the Pro-1000 is it takes A2 paper, up to 17-inch as well. Also, the inks come in the bottom here. If you can see them, I'll just open that up for you. So you can see the inks here, 12 inks in 80mm cartridges. So the saving in ink is huge. Probably 60p a mil was saving on every print. To give you an idea, these printers will use probably about 1.5 to 2 mil of ink in total for an A3 print. So it's probably not as much as you think on any of these printers, but when you've halved the ink costs like you have on this one, then that can soon add up. Warning with this printer though, it likes to be used. It is really a professional printer and it likes to be used. If you don't use it, it will start doing, say, automatic cleans and things like that every 3 days if you're leaving it on. Now, the best advice is to leave it on all the time because it will use 4mm of ink when you start up, 4mm of ink when you shut down. If you're putting it on every day and turning it off every day, that will soon add up and your ink cartridges will be gone. It's designed to run pretty much 12 or 24 hours a day, to be honest. They are absolutely brilliant. They are real workhorses. But like I said, they just like to be used. So you've got to be putting a good amount of prints through them. However, the print quality is absolutely stunning. Like I said, I haven't really seen a massive difference with the Pro-300 and the Pro-1000. One thing to say is this is a heavy printer. It's coming in at about that 30 kilo mark when all said and done. It has the same head as the large format machines as well. It has the same ink, the same head as the large format machines as well. So in theory, you could use the same profiles on the Pro-1000 as you could on, say, the 40-100, the 44-inch machine, and get away with it and be absolutely fine. I do know people that do that and it seems to work quite well. You can replace the head in this printer as well. It's got a facility where you can change the head just as you would an ink cartridge. It also has a maintenance tank at the back, which probably needs replacing once every 6 months to a year as well. Don't worry, they're not that much in comparison to ink cartridges. And that is where all the waste ink goes, so you don't have to worry about pads filling up or anything like that you might on the other models I've talked about. Now, like I said, the one downside is those cleaning cycles and things like that. But if you're printing on it every other day, you should be absolutely fine. The advice is leave it on for a print, say once a week or once every 2 weeks. If any longer than that, if you're going to leave the printer for any longer than that, we advise turning it off so it doesn't do any of those cleans because it's going to use less ink when it starts up than it would doing those automatic cleans as if you're leaving it on. So this is the flagship printer. This is the one everyone aspires to be honest. And there are some great deals going about with cashback and things. So if you can get one of those deals, it's an absolute steal, to be honest, because it comes with full cartridges like all these printers do. However, the Pro-1000 comes with about £500 worth of ink in the box. When you first start it up though, this printer will fill the head and all the tubing, and it's got some little reservoirs in the head as well. So don't panic because it will seem like all your ink has been flushed away because you'll end up with about 1/3 of a cartridge left. Do not panic. The ink is in the printer. It's basically taking it from your ink cartridges and put it in the printer. Some will be in your maintenance cartridge, I'm afraid, just because it has to overfill a little bit to get it all there. However, I've taken one of these out of the box and got well over 100 A3s out of it without having to change an ink cartridge. Of course, that all depends on actually what you're printing and etc. But I have personally done that and it's been absolutely fine. It's nice and sturdy. It's not going to go anywhere, this printer. They really do run for a very long time as well. We've taken them to shows and out of the back of the vans and things like that. We've got one in the main office actually that's a little bit battered now, but it's still going. So they can take a little bit of punishment, but normally I would say leave it on a desk and just leave it, to be honest, because you don't want to be carrying this in and out like we do here. Now, one big question I haven't been answering, and I've left it to the end, is which one would I get? I actually do have a Canon printer at home on my desk for my own work, and that is the IP8750. The reason being is I do a lot of alternate process and print digital negatives and such like that. I didn't have the need to buy a bigger printer. I didn't need the Pro-1000 and I didn't need the Pro-300. And also the cost element was a little bit in there as well. So I actually have one of those. If it was me, I would it's a very hard question to answer. If it was me, it all depends on budget. If you have the budget for a Pro-1000, it is going to save you a lot of money in the long run because of those ink costs. So if you can, think about the Pro-1000. Also, if you have the space and the strength for it as well, think about that. One thing with the Pro-1000, do not take it up into a loft conversion with space-saving stairs. I can vouch for that personally in lockdown. So if that's one thing, consideration as well, maybe the Pro-300 is for you. However, I'll say the Pro-200, that is a really nice little in-between printer and will do fantastic jobs for club prints, distinctions and awards and anything like that you can think of. Can't officially call the prints from it fine art because it hasn't got those pigment inks in there, but it will produce really, really nice prints for you. I can vouch for that, and I will be showing that in a new video coming up. So the Pro-300 is kind of the best of both worlds. I don't think you're going to be going wrong with any of these printers. If you're just starting out on your printing journey, the 8750 is ideal, to be honest. You can't get a better printer to start with. Now, if you are a little bit further on, the decisions get a little bit more complicated, and really between the Pro-300 or the Pro-1000 here, if you can, like I said, try and get the Pro-1000 because in the long run, it will future-proof yourself and also it'll cost less in the long run. That is only if you're doing a lot of prints though. So if you're printing 10 prints a week, say, then look at the Pro-1000. Or you want that bigger A2 size in there. I should also add as well that I completely forgot to mention, this printer can print panoramics as well from a roll. It doesn't have a roll adapter, but you can cut off a 17-inch roll and feed it in. I have done a video on that as well. If you just give it a quick search, it should come up for you. So there are the 4 Canon printers in their range at the minute that we would highly recommend, and we also sell as well. And we are a Canon Gold partner as well, so we can advise you on all of these printers. So look at our website. If you've got any questions at all, drop us an email at sales@Fotospeed, or pick up the phone and give us a call. We are more than happy to talk through the options. We're not going to do the hard sell on you, I promise. So don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon to get the notifications of when we release a new video. And also don't forget to sign up to the Fotospeed newsletter on photospeed.com. I'll put a link below in the description to get exclusive discounts and to keep up to all the news, including when Canon are going to do some cashback on these printers as well. Still haven't really answered the question of which one would I pick, but I'm just going to leave that one there. So until next time, bye-bye.